Alright, so today's video is about simplifying Boolean expressions. So let's get started. So we'll talk about first the basic rules. When we be using Multisim Live website for schematics, and there'll be a link to that in the description. And then I'll also talk about De Morgan's laws, and along the way, for some of the more complex ones, we'll have truth tables to prove them. So here's some of the basic rules. So first, if you have a variable ORed with a 1, then it's always going to be 1 because you only need one of the two things in the OR to be 1. So if one of them is already 1, it doesn't matter what the variable is in that case. And second, we have a and 0 is always going to be 0 because for the AND gate, you always need both of them to be 1. So if one of them is 0, then it doesn't matter what that variable a is going to be. It's always going to be 0. And now in the bottom row at the left, we have a or 0. In that case, the output of that is going to depend on what a is because that other variable is always 0. So it's always going to depend on the variable a. And in the middle, we have a inverted twice is just going to be a again. So yeah, if you had a schematic like this, like if you had an expression, you could reduce the amount of gates you have in that case. And lastly, we have a and 1. In that case, the output's going to depend on the value of a because the other variable is always 1, and the AND gate requires both to be 1. So if one's already 1, then the output's going to depend on that variable a. We have some more basic rules here. A or a, so if you're putting the same variable into the same OR gate, the output is going to depend on a, as you can guess, because they're either both going to be 1 or they're both going to be 0. And that's a similar case for the AND gate. They're both going to be 1 or they're both going to be 0. It all depends on what that variable is. And so there's a simplification there. And then here at the bottom left is a simplification that you'll probably use pretty frequently. A or not a, which means the variable or its inverted variable, that's always going to be 1. Because the thing is, it's basically like if the value of a was to be 0, then the inverse of that's going to be 1. So in that case, it's going to be the output of that's going to be 1. And same way, reversed, if a was 1 and a inverted was 0, that's going to be an output of 1. So yeah, you're ORing the normal variable in its inverted form, so it's always going to be 1. And then lastly, if you were to do the same thing with an AND gate, it'd be always 0 because similarly, you're always going to have 1 and 0 or 0 and 1, and that's not going to work for your AND gate. So you're going to get a 0 in that case. Here's some more, slightly more complicated rules. So we're using truth tables here. So first on the left, we have a or a and b, and that can be simplified to just a. So we have a truth table here to prove it. So we have the inputs a and b, and then the expression a or a and b. And if you compare that with the a column, it's the exact same. So that's why it simplifies like that. And then in the middle, we have a or inverted a and b, and that's equivalent to a or b, which is basically just getting rid of that inverted a in the second term. And again, if you look at the truth table, the last two columns are the same, so that's why that simplifies like that. And then lastly, we have a or b and a or c, and that simplifies to a or b and c. Yeah, and you can see the truth table there. Again, the last two have equivalent values. And you can also see the schematics for both of them above. So yeah. And that brings us to De Morgan's laws. So with De Morgan's laws, you're basically inverting a whole expression. And when you're inverting the expression, not only are you inverting the variables A and B in this case, you're also going to be inverting the sign. So if you're inverting a and sign, that's going to be an or sign. And then same way, reverse, if you invert an or sign, it's an and sign. So first on the left, A naught and B naught is equivalent to the inverse output of A or B. So that's, you take the normal A or B, and then you, whatever the result of that is, you'd invert that. And you can see the truth table for that. So where basically, in both cases, you're only get a 1 if both A and B are 0. And then on the right, it's a pretty similar concept, except switching the signs around basically. A naught or B naught is equivalent to the inverted of the expression A and B. And again, the truth table shows that. So basically, as long as both A and B aren't 1, then you will have an output of 1 in both cases. And also you have the schematics there for that. So that brings us to our practice. We have 2 problems here that I want you to find the simplified Boolean expressions for. First, from the schematic, which has 3 input variables, A, B, and C, and they go through some combinational logic gates, and to get the final output of X there at the right on that lamp. And then second, also from this truth table, where again you have A, B, and C as inputs and X as the output. So yeah, you'll find the the initial Boolean expressions from these, and then you'll use those rules to simplify. And I'll start solving these here in a second. So if you want to do these by yourself, go ahead and pause the video and do them right now, because I'm going to start looking at solutions in 3, 2, 1. So first we're going to solve the schematic. So if you follow the gates and the inputs to the output, you get an initial expression of X is equal to A and B and C inverted, or B inverted and C, or just C. So first, we get rid of that middle term entirely, and the reason we do that is if you look at the last 2 terms, and then we go back to this one, the one on the left, where it's A or A and B, and simplifies to just A. That's kind of what we're doing here. If you look at those last 2 terms, those both have C in them, so you can get rid of that middle term for that reason. Then next, we're going to get rid of the C inverted, and that comes back from the middle one here. A or A inverted and B simplifies to just get rid of that inverted A in the second term, except kind of the order's kind of switched around, but it's still the same concept. You get rid of that inverted C in the other term because it doesn't matter, and that leaves us with a final expression of X is equal to A and B or C. And you can do truth tables on this to prove if you wanted to, but I won't right now, because we're going to go to the second one, which is solving the expression from a truth table. So if you take all the 1s in this truth table and you were to make an expression out of those, 3, where all 3 variables are present, you get this pretty lengthy expression that I won't read out entirely. But the important thing is to kind of look for which terms only have one inverted term. And yeah, there's 3 of them, and conveniently, yeah, they cancel out the term that's different because of the bottom left here, A or inverted A equals 1, which is to say if you have the variable orb with its inverted self, then that's going to be 1. And in this case here, that's just going to cancel out. So forget that. And that's going to simplify it way more here to where we just have X is equal to inverted A and C, or A and inverted B, or A and B. But there's even more simplification we can do here, because if you notice, those last 2 terms both have A, but they have the B and then the inverted B, so you can do the similar thing, cancel those b's out, and we get to this. And again, we have that rule from earlier that we used above, where we have a or inverted a times c. So you get rid of that inverted a in the first term, and that leaves us with a final expression of c or a, which is way more simplified than what we had at the start, which is the importance of the being able to simplify these expressions. So yeah, that's going to do it. Hopefully that all made sense. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll see y'all later.